Hi Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your September 16th to the 30th, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Capricorn, September 16th to the 30th, 2021, Capricorn. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have the moon, which is Pisces energy. And we have the Empress. So if we have Pisces within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully at our roots. It's going to be a very grounding point for us, but also any of the positive energy, any of the negative energy, that's going to be what roots us during this time. There's also a severe connection to the esoteric, to the spiritual, to many things being unveiled during this time. We then have the goddess of earth. This is earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This is, of course, us in the minor arcana coming through as the goddess of earth, as flowing forward from milk and honey, as seeing the prosperous in many different arenas. It moves us then to the world. Now the world in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is equivalent to the Fool. So it's a beginning of the journey. It's kind of like, I can't go back to where I once was. I have to move forward, because if you can see here, it's burning down. It's like it's the end of an era. It's the beginning of a new one. It moves us then to our emotional self. We have the 10 of Pentacles, prosperity that lasts for generations. And it has the Page of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, playing very profoundly off of the Pisces energy at our root. Also having us be a student of our loves, our fears, our joys, and everything in between within our hearts. We're also going to have information come from the most unlikely of spaces during this time. In the public arena, we have the 9 of Swords, worry, doubt, fear, nightmares. And then we have the 7 of Pentacles, be patient. Prosperity comes. But we're not going to want to be patient, Capricorn. We're going to want it yesterday. So in the public arena, we kind of have to reel ourselves in. We have this love for the thrill of the acquisition is what I really see it as. And what Spirit is showing, it's like the thrill of the hunt, the thrill of the buy, the thrill of the, you know, can I find the best thing at the best price, you know, kind of setting it all up, or can I, you know, work with this company to get things a little bit lower and, you know, set things up in business so that we can move forward in a better, more productive way. We're going to have this kind of thrill of the hunt during this time. We have to be mindful of it because it can kind of become all consuming. And instead of it just being a thrill, it's going to be a little bit of an addiction during this time. So just be mindful of that. It's not anything bad, but we're going to really like the thrill of the hunt during this time. Our energy to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. The Death card. This is Scorpio energy. This is secrets. Now, sometimes secrets are good. Sometimes secrets are bad. It depends on the secret. It depends who's keeping it and why. But what we're going to have here is we're going to have ourselves being a little bit secretive. And we have to just be mindful of this. What are we keeping to ourselves that maybe it would be healthier if we share? If we share it with a professional, if we share it with somebody who can, you know, can help give us explanations and reasons and ground us in a very real way. This is also going to say that we're going to be very drawn to people who are just a little bit mysterious. You know, just we can't fully figure them out. And we're going to think, wow, that's a really good thing. A bit of a challenge has come forward. They're not necessarily going to be a challenge. There's going to be a reason why we don't understand them. They can be on a completely different energy vibration than we are. So their way of seeing things and our way of seeing things is going to be absolutely different. And this can also be that they're just going to be secretive. They don't want to share everything. And if you are with that person as a friend, as a partner, you know, wherever, however, you're going to have to accept that about them. And that is going to be something that's a bit difficult because you're going to find that they keep more than they share. And that's going to be something that is a bit intense. Let's look at our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Flexibility. This is the solar plexus. No, this is the sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra is hugely complex because it is not only where our creative energy is and our sexual energy, but it is where our trauma dramas from this life and from past lives are held. So what we're looking at here is how to be flexible, how to embrace our creativity, our sensuality, our sexuality, while still understanding the hurts and the pains that are held within the sacral chakra, while still understanding what is keeping us from the flexibility that we want. There's a sense of wisdom coming forward, of insight being seen. And there's this kind of turning of a page that happens. And as this page turns, we see what we desire from our lives more. We understand ourselves more. And we step into a place of greater power, of greater intuition, of greater self. It moves us to the moon. It moves us to a place at our root of fear and doubt, of shadows. What if we want what we once hid in the shadows, what we once were deeply ashamed of, deeply, thought, oh my gosh, this is what's wrong with me. Not in a way that we air our dirty laundry, but in a way that we say, I have this disability, it's shameful. Or I don't see things the same way as everybody else, it's shameful. We tend to put it on ourselves as a fault instead of as I'm different and that's okay. This is going to be a time where we start to look at that and say, I'm having the part of me that I stuck in the shadows, that I said, oh no, you're not fit to see the light of day. I'm starting to let me come out. I'm starting to let me be more me each and every time. We're looking at our fears and our doubts and our angers and our upsets. We're looking at what links us to our hearts, but also what keeps us from diving too deeply into our emotions and into what we desire, because there's a part of us that feels inadequate, that doesn't think it will ever be enough. And as we start to embrace our creativity, as we start to say, by the quiet of the moon, there are so many beautiful things that can happen, that move me forward, that inspire me, that bless me, I'm not going to limit myself. And it brings us then to the Empress. It brings us to this place where we start to embrace that we see things differently. We start to embrace our power and our insight and our ideas. And as we do so, we claim a throne we never knew we had. We claim a voice we didn't know was silenced. We claim power we didn't think could be a part of us. And as we do this, we stand in our strength. We stand in our healing. This is also a time where we look at what it is that we truly want, what it is that we are creating forward, birthing forward into the world. It doesn't have to be children. Some people don't want to be parents, or, can't, and that's fine. We have to accept us for who we are and not think this is a flaw that can't ever be seen past. This is something, again, to be shameful. We are walking out of the shame, and it's so interesting what we think of as shameful. The weight that we put on our shoulders that isn't shameful. That isn't some deep, dark, terrible thing to hang our heads by. When we embrace the Empress, we embrace creation. And there are many ways to create in this world. And we start to see that creation flowing forward, and that becomes the land of milk and honey for us. That becomes, the Aztec pyramids, the Egyptian pyramids, in the sense that people from different walks of life, created something astoundingly similar. The fact that there's honey and beauty and sweetness in the world. The fact that there is more to this life than we will ever fully comprehend or know or maybe even wonder about. But now we walk forward in the land of milk and honey, in the land of dreams and possibilities, richness, sweetness, and substance. It brings us to the Fool, to the world. We are stepping out into the world, and it could seem foolish. Why don't we stay where we were supposed to stay? Why don't we burn that way? And it's like, no. I'm going after my dreams, my desires, my wants, my needs. I'm opening up the door in a way that you could never have imagined, in a way that I doubted could ever be. And as we do this, we step more into ourselves. The Fool is the hero. To step into the world, to find our place within the world. And it doesn't mean that we have to find our place in our teens or in our 20s. Sometimes that doesn't happen in our 30s or 40s or 50s, 60s or 70s. We get to find where we stand. We get to find who we are. And there's no timestamp on this. We tend to think there is. If I haven't done this by this age, then it's all terrible. If I haven't accomplished this by this time, then it's all falling apart. It's like, no. Let me be kind to me and embrace the journey that is my existence. And it moves us then to the Ten of Pentacles. It moves us to calling in wealth into our hearts that lasts for generations. This is also a completion of a cycle when it comes to money. You do not understand, well, most people do not understand the trauma that so many have around money. It can be that we grew up in households where there wasn't enough, where there were always fights about money from our caregivers. There can also be, we fell in love, and the person that we fell in love with was obsessive about money, was controlling about money, had a terrible relationship with money. And so here with the Ten of Pentacles, we're stepping out of a cycle of lack, of doubt, of fear, and into a cycle of prosperity, into a cycle of this is my wealth, this is my success, this is what I desire, this is how I'm moving forward. And as we do so, we embrace who we are and what we want. We call forward wealth that lasts for generations, and it doesn't mean that we have to pass it on within our family line. What it means is that we raise our energy vibration in such a way that it inspires other generations. It calls forward others. And it brings us to the Page of Cups, to being a student of our wealth and our prosperity of emotion, to diving deeply within our hearts and saying, I'm learning. I'm learning what is right for my heart and my soul and myself. I'm learning what isn't. I'm learning what calls in the richness and what brings dark, kind of shadowy gray moods. I'm learning. And the thing with learning about our hearts is that we're always learning. We're always understanding. We're always gaining a greater insight. And we call forward love, peace, harmony, beauty during this time. Again, we find inspiration in the most unlikely of places. So don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to embrace something that seems maybe a little bit odd, because in the public arena, we have our nightmares. We have our fears, our things that keep us small. But if we are patient, we are going to find that there's prosperity that comes, wealth and abundance that carries us in such a way that we hadn't imagined it could be true. The thing during this time is, in the public arena especially, is not to let our fears win, our doubts take over, our hurts and our pains hold us back. The Seven of Pentacles says, be patient and be kind. It's like when you order something, right? Online or from a shop, and you're used to ordering on Amazon, and it comes next day on Amazon. And you think, that's how packages arrive. And then you order from this mom and pop shop or a small business or just anywhere else, and it doesn't come next day. It's not that that place is wrong. It's that Amazon is weird and freaky. And so here, that's what it's saying. It's like, don't get so much into your own head, because the thought of it has become commonplace. You know, we think the extraordinary is going to be the ordinary, or we overthink the situation and worry about how we've done everything. And if we've done everything perfectly, be patient. Because when it arrives, it's worth it. And practicing patience in our instant gratification world, well, that's important. And a skill a lot of people have lost. It moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. And that's the Lord. Now this is Aries energy. This is saying to be mindful of thinking we have absolute power. Thinking that we absolutely understand. The Empress and the Lord come together. The Emperor and the Empress come together. And it's like we have to dive deeper. And the Lord is going to say, I know enough. I see enough. And we have to be mindful of surrounding ourselves with people who say, okay, I see enough. I understand enough. I got it all. Where they have nothing. It's just a bunch of bluster and a bluff. It moves us to our subconscious chakra message. And that is truth. This is the throat chakra. This is being able to embrace our words and our truth. What is right for us and what isn't. What is powerful for us and what isn't. As we speak our truth, as we embrace our truth as we see it within our world. And our truth is the way we see the world, is our energy vibration, our comprehension, our understanding. We start to rise higher and higher and higher into ourselves, into what we desire, into who we are and need to be. But the truth is going to be important. This is not a time for lies or a time to kind of skim over things. This is a time to see things deeply and differently, Capricorn. It moves us to our subconscious rooted message. And that's strength. Here we have the person standing on top of a mountain, a hill, looking out into the world. And that takes strength. So often we like to have our plans, everything set out just a certain way. It takes strength to say, okay, I'm deviating from the norm. I'm going towards something that is greater than I thought it would be, but vaster than I could ever have imagined. And for that, I embrace my strength. Not my brute force strength, but my strength of courage and will, determination and focus, as I open up the door to me, to where I need to be and how I need to move forward. It moves us to our subconscious inner self. And that is the wisdom keeper. Now, this is the tower in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. As we keep the wisdom, as we see more and more and more, so much of what we had thought was fundamentally true changes. So much of our preconceived notions fall away. We are kicked out of our comfort zone. And that is going to be where the wisdom comes. Nobody progresses. Nobody's soul elevates when things are easy. When everything just falls into place and they've never known suffering. Suffering builds compassion. Because if you don't know the pain of something, how can you know to respect when somebody has been in that pain? And so here, the wisdom keeper comes. The person who sees when others turn away. And it's going to be really important for our inner selves to see when others turn away. When others laugh, we listen. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self. And this is the Page of Pentacles. This is us being a student of our hearts, being a student of our prosperity for generations. This is us represented again in the Minor Arcana by the Pentacles. We call forward wealth, prosperity, success. We nurture it. We see how it guides us forward and where it moves us to. It moves us then to our subconscious public message, and that's Temperance. Temperance represents Sagittarius energy. If we're born on the cusp with Sagittarius, or we have Sagittarius within our natal chart, that's going to come through very powerfully in our public self. We like things to be balanced. We like to meet and talk to new people. We like to figure things out, and life is a little bit of a puzzle during this time, but in a good way. What we have to be very mindful of is that the energy we let into our world deeply affects us. We can think, oh, well, I'm talking to this person, I don't really like them, I don't get a good vibe from them, but it doesn't matter. It does matter. It really, really does. Remember, flamingos are white birds, but the food that they eat turns them pink. The energy that we take in changes us. We have to be very aware of that and keep our balance and keep our center of self. All right, Capricorn, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the powerful change that is to come. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Capricorn.